I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. It's been a while. What have you been up to? I mean, obviously, besides fighting.
So it's fighting. Yeah, I took some time off last year and went back home to Australia for a while and did like a little road trip and stuff with my partner, and that was fun. And yeah, then got kind of towards the end of last year, got back into training and getting ready for this year.
Has this season been different at all? Because I know, like, when you left, there was stuff as far as like Bellator being bought, and then this season being a little different in terms of kind of who was going to be competing. Different people behind the scenes, maybe. Has it felt different, or does it still feel like what it felt like last time?
Yeah, it still feels pretty much the same. Obviously, we've got a few new faces and we've got some new talent coming from Bellator, which is exciting. There's the I feel like each division's a little more stacked this year. But yeah, other than that, it's the same cage. Few different things, different gloves, different shorts, which I like, but yeah, everything else is pretty similar.
Has there been a little bit more pressure on you this season just because of coming off of that layoff and then, coming in as a former champion? And did you feel like there was maybe something you kind of had to prove to this season?
Yeah, I think after winning it the first year, I felt a lot more pressure. Even just going back into that next fight with Thiago, just being the champion of winning it, and then obviously being suspended last year, coming back this year. That first fight was definitely more pressure. I felt a bit more nervous and a bit more, I guess, anxious leading into that fight than I normally do. One, just because I hadn't fought for over a year, and two, just coming off, I just really wanted to come out and have a good performance and put last year behind me and go out there and do what I've always done in the PFL cage and go out there and get a knockout. And I did that, with my quickest knockout yet. And after that, I felt like I could finally put the mistake I made last year behind me and that suspension over. And then I'm just back. I'm back in the win column. I'm back fighting in the tournament again, and yeah, just focus on this year.
Did you watch last season at all, like as it was happening, or was it something where you were like, I got to put this out of my brain, or were you did you have somebody you were rooting for or something you wanted to see happen?
I did watch the final, the light heavyweight fights. I kind of didn't watch too much of the fights, to be honest, but I watched the final. I'm not sure if I really watched any other fights. Maybe just saw some of the highlights and stuff, and uh, it just kind of frustrated me that I wasn't able to be there and competing. And yeah,
Yeah, I can imagine that must have been hard. What did you think of the final? Like, did you think that the right guy was the champion? I mean, I know obviously he won, but like did you when you're looking at the division even now, do you feel like he really should be the champion for this division?
I mean, yeah, he definitely deserved to win it last year. Uh, I wasn't like super impressed with the fight. Like I just didn't think. I mean, I even said this to Josh before we were fighting when they had us doing a shit talking thing. I just didn't think I wasn't that impressed with Josh's performance. He kind of looked like he kind of gave up a little bit after losing the first round, and looked like even in the training rounds in the corner and stuff, he was struggling to kind of find something to really kind of keep pushing. Obviously, he stayed in the fight, but and then I feel like Impa just kind of cruised onto that victory and didn't like get a finish or anything. But I think he's a great fighter. He shows a lot of heart, and yeah, he of course he deserves to be the champion last year. He won 5 fights last year to win that belt, and then he straight away was backing it up, doing the champ versus champ thing with Bellator. I mean, he's I think he's got to be the most active fighter in any promotion currently. Like this is going to be his ninth fight in under 2 years. That's pretty unheard of. Yeah, so and he's doing well. He's a great fighter. He showed a lot of heart last fight. He showed that he's tough and he can come back from getting dropped and getting hurt and still get the finish.
We're obviously seeing that rematch in the playoffs, and I'm sure you're going to be paying attention to that fight again because if you win yours, that's who you're going to fight. Do you have a preference on who you would fight in the finals? And looking at that fight, having already seen it once, do you think it will go any different?
Um, I like both of the guys. I talk to Josh a lot every fight show, and Imp is a nice dude. Like I don't have anything against either of those guys. Um, I'd like to fight Impa just because he's a champion from last year. I think that's the biggest fight that I can have in the PFL at the moment is me versus Impa for the title. That's just a big fight. Obviously two former champions from the last 2 years fighting each other, haven't lost, fighting each other for the championship. That's a big fight. So that's the fight I'd like to have. I do see it going differently. I don't think it's going to be as one-sided. I think Josh has improved a lot and learnt from that loss. Which all good fighters do. And I think when I fought him, I felt like he was a better fighter than I had seen him previously in the past. So I think that fight's going to be closer. We even just talked, Impa just got dropped and hurt in his last fight, then he has to fight again 8 weeks later. I know he recovered very well in the cage, and that probably won't affect him. But all those sort of things kind of add up. It's as we said, 9th fight in like less than 2 years. It's a lot of toll on your body. So I think it's going to be a closer fight, but yeah, I think Impa will still get it done.
And obviously you have a fight ahead of you. I have no idea how to pronounce your opponent's name. I'm not even going to try. What do you think of that matchup? How do you see that fight going?
I'm excited. I think he's a good fighter. He's a powerful hitter. He likes to strike. He's very kind of like darts in and out, those, big loopy shots. Yeah, I like the fight. I like the matchup. I actually was told I was going to fight him in the first round of this year, and then it got changed to Phil Davis. So I was really watching a few of his fights earlier this year, and now we're fighting again. Now we're matched up again. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be a good stand up fighting.
And I know you don't want to look too far ahead, but assuming you win this one and assuming you win the final, there's probably an opportunity to fight in another PFL versus Bellator event. Is that something that would interest you? I guess we don't know who would be in that fight yet, but it probably would be Corey Anderson, assuming he keeps the title that long. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, those fights excite me. Corey Anderson is he's been considered one of the top probably 5 light heavyweights for a long time now. So one, it's a big shiny belt with a ring in the middle of it, and 2, it's an opportunity to have a big fight against someone like Corey Anderson, who beating someone like that, I feel like that kind of really puts me in the top 5 light heavyweights in the world at the moment, which is that's kind of where I want to be. I want to be considered. I want to be considered the best fighter, and I know I've got to keep winning fights and have bigger fights to kind of prove that. So those fights are exactly what I'm looking for.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you.
Thanks. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.